pseudo offlaner, or at least an offlaner type build, to try and help him a little bit more with this catch. Because Ghostic eventually, he is going to be an initiating force, especially with the offlaner. But I think he's going to be looking to get these Dooms off onto Centaur is not a bad target, particularly. Maybe even some of the supports, you could argue, could receive a Doom, and that could lead off to a teamfight victory. But it would seem to me that the targets that your DK and Doom want to go on are eventually going to be separate targets. And so I'd like to see still FN up for that Blink Dagger, which we probably will, though. I think having that cheap stun and the ability to initiate that quickly is so valuable for the hero.
Let's see how this game ends up going for Viking GG and Unique, as Unique is starting to do typical SEA plays where you start to look for a kill immediately since you have decent level 1s. I don't know, if you find a one... Well, yeah, because Ursa's very weak at level 1, so you can punish that pretty hard. I think with the Arctic Burn particularly. They're trying to dominate the enemy side of the jungle. They even put some really aggressive wards here. Very surprised with this incredibly aggressive ward by Unique here.
Yeah, Shad is using his sixth sense here to kind of figure there must be enemies on their own high ground. Well, likely in their triangle or right on our own high ground, because of course they've got a ward scouting over the top power rune spawn.
The battle begins.
What's going on here in this mid lane? Are we looking to scout some rotations? No, Celery and Shadow are just going to head back bottom, boom, to block the creep wave, and it looks like we're going to line up for a pretty, excuse me, a fairly regular laning setup here for both sides. Let's go sick. Yep, just immediately eating the first range creep.
Is that what the ward is for, to be able to do that reliably?
I don't know. I assume it's to try and get a favorable lane matchup. I'm not sure what they'd be looking to dodge here. Maybe they want...
because if you already have... No, if you're Doom versus Ursa, like, there's your lane matchup, right? I don't know, I don't feel like that's favorable whatsoever, so... Look, Shad... Ursa level 1 though, so he's not going to do much to Ghostic, but Ghostic also doesn't want to stay in lane.
He's in trouble, actually. I don't think he's dead, but he is taking a lot of free damage here. Healing salve though, so he'll be okay. He'll be fine.
Level 1 Whirling Axe is pretty good damage, 75 damage for a relatively low cooldown spell. You gotta be a bit careful of that. The slow on top of that can add a lot of harassment. Yeah. Even if you go for the Retaliate, Trolls is gonna hit you.
That Arctic Burn, of course, doing plenty of damage. So it'll be a race for Kezu here to just pick up that Ring of Health and try and stay alive, as they have stopped the creep pull with a Soul lane creep being moved in to interrupt the flow of those dire creep. Without Arctic Burn, though, Hermes is going to be fairly free and have the liberty of just kind of ignoring the Wyvern for the most part. He's not really too scared of the damage, especially again without the without the Burn or the Splinter Blast being available.
I don't think this lane has too much kill potential on the Nyx particularly, and the Centaur, once he gets a couple of levels, I think you'll also be fine, to be honest. In fact, I think the lanes in general for Viking GG are quite solid. Bottom, you're proposing kills. Mid, you can harass the DK a fair amount. And then top is the only lane where there's some potential because of the natural strength of a Troll. But I think as long as you get a couple points in Retaliate, both Winter and Troll struggle to harass the Centaur in general.
The nice thing about the Burn, though, is that you really only need to hit him once for the debuff, right? And against a hero like the Centaur, that is going to end up doing way more damage, even with a maxed return or retaliate, even with a maxed passive on the Centaur. He's not going to really be enjoying that lane too much. Ghostic is getting ran down here. There's 3 Fury Swipes already on top of him, but luckily Ghostic just able to outrun Fuzzy Wuzzy here. Big Nom was off and away, I think, blocking the camp or looking to do for some D-wards, and he wasn't there for the stun. Just, you know, a chilling reminder about why this lane is as difficult as it is here for the Doom.
No, Kezu's actually struggling to the Arctic Burn in the top lane. And he managed to get the creeps between lanes, but Slayer is taking him for a ride here. Oh, but now it's down to last hitting creeps, and Kez is like, yeah, try to match my 68 damage with your measly 46. Now you're free to do whatever. Even went for an early ring of protection.
Yep, he's, I like how he just, and he's not even panicked whatsoever. He knows that that range creep is not within the deny range of a Wyvern. FN with just the 1 point right now in the Dragon's Blood, so he's not really feeling the pressure from Boom this early on. Boom with the 201 build. I'd be curious to see what he's going to put his 4th skill point into. I think
Shad will chase after Big Num bottom, by the way. He has an Earth Shock in a second. I think this is a possible kill. Earth Spike, ooh. They line themselves up for that, but Shad still has the extra movement speed and Nova Venom, so Big Num will die.
Yep. He's got those
That Orb of
boots.
Venom, so useful to guarantee these kills.
Boots and Orb of Venom is going to make this really difficult for Ghostic now as well. Ghostic, who I think should have boots on the way. He's got the Midas queued up here on the Doom, but I don't know. I feel like this is a lane where, oh, hold on thought. Mid lane, actually, FN is in some trouble as Hermes does rotate on over. Bottle refill, though, courtesy of Bignum, as it is going to be the 4th skill point into the Diabolic Edict for a bit more damage. Kezu's Courier, by the way, is killed off by Seema the Slayer, and that's significant because it had the Ring of Health on it for Kezu. So that is going to be a lot of his regen missing. Luckily, he's got a salve, which means he's still going to be able to play around the top lane area, but quite a big loss here for the offlane Centaur.
Yeah, but Kezu's been doing a decent job of just running the lanes down and stopping the Troll from having a... I mean, Troll tends to have a free lane against most offlaners, so he's been doing a good job of keeping the lane equilibrium near his tower. I don't think he's too sad about this farm. Of course, the fact that Doom is also getting a really decent lane against an Ursa is definitely something that concerns Viking GG. And this mid lane, Boom has done nothing against the DK. And it's only 1 point in Dragon Blood. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. 3 points in the...
Not for FN, mind you. It's bad for Lesh, because it clearly shows how weak you are against a DK.
Oh, yeah, that's how I took it as well. But, yeah, it's good that you elaborated, because, yeah, I got to be clear on that. I think FN decides to go for 3 points in the Breathe Fire just to be able to clear the waves. Because Boom, he's got decent wave clear, especially with level 6, but it's very mana-intensive to go for it. Nice double stun here is going to stop the aggression coming through from Viking GG in this bottom lane. Because if you can clear the waves and force Boom to either tank tower or use a lot of the mana and Edict explosions on creep waves, then he's not going to be too happy with himself. FN, yeah, I mean, it's plenty of damage on the Breathe Fire as well. That's a nice bonus for sure.
Yeah, I think it's honestly a solid build. Like I said, it's how much the enemy team lets you essentially get away with when it comes to Dragon's Blood. I think very often DKs will just, well, not in competitive, mind you, but you know, in the lower tiers you go, they will try to max Dragon Blood kind of mindlessly to be a super tank. And if you can get away with more points in the Breathe Fire, that's ideal for the farming potential, for the kill potential you have. Lesh is not the tankiest hero. You can set up for kills here with a Breathe Fire easily.
Certainly, yeah, certainly. Caustic, by the way, he chose to go for the Foreman Speed Aura, and I think even with the Tether move speed, they will be hard-pressed to try and find Ghostic, but not if they take a quick shortcut. There's the Urshot down to the low ground, Ghostic trying to TP away. The Fury Swipe stacking up will result in the kill. They will at least find Aramis in the river as he was looking to contest the power runes. Ultimately, it'll spawn bottom and go into the bottle of Boom.
Okay, so that's good. Finally, the kill Shed was looking for. This helps him get closer and closer to the Fusel Blade. In the mid lane, they're trying to do the same thing against FN. The lack of Dragon Blood's going to punish him here. Yeah. He doesn't heal fast enough. So much magical damage, though, from Boom. It's not like it would have helped him too much either.
Yeah, I think that's another concern here. Unfortunately, this is kind of what I was expecting, regardless of the build. That's why I kind of liked the idea of maxing the Breathe Fire and trying to clear these waves. Now we have both supports now attempting to defend and actually doing a really damn good job. That's already a medallion finished for the Wyvern. No brown boots, but medallion done already.
Yeah, you turn the Blightstone into something useful. As the game progresses, you're like, what do I do with the Blightstone as a Winter Wyvern, right? And the medallion actually helps your team a bit more. I actually wouldn't mind seeing like Holy Locket into Solar Crest a bit later because of how much the Solar Crest buffs a Troll. Already good natural armor. The extra attack speed is great. Bottom lane, though, talk about attack speed. Shad was thinking of going for Ghostic here, but instead just putting pressure into the tower.
Dire's bottom tower
as Celery joins him again in lane.
I think they might be able to, yeah, they should be able to repel this pretty easily. Doom almost up to level 6, good Earth Spike there into the War Stomp. Bit of extra damage here onto Celery mostly, courtesy of the creep wave. Mid lane, FN fighting versus Aramis. I think it's Lash Farm and a bit of a stack. FN willing to stun himself, seemingly. I mean, the Spike Carapace was out before the attack animation started. And he will fall.
Yep. I mean, FN's still farming decently. One of the difficulties, though, as a DK or as a DP against Lesh is that Lesh has constant push, which has very low cooldown, Diabolic Edict, or relatively low cooldown, and you depend on your ultimate. So Boom is much more free to rotate, like for example, top against Palantimos, use Diabolic Edict, get the kill, and still go mid in time to defend it.
That's a much needed. I don't know if that's a much needed kill. I don't know why there are so many denies in this top lane, quite frankly. I mean, 30 CS versus the 50 of the Troll Warlord, but they both each have over 10 denies is kind of incredible. Usually when you see someone, I mean, it's 8 minutes in, so, you know, that's not too many denies. It's like 1 or 2 creeps from each wave at this stage. It's still not that bad for both players. Normally when you see something like that, you go, whoa, Troll is dominating top. But everyone, in fact, in this game, focusing really heavily on the denying aspect here.
I remember when I was in the major, both Noping and Beast Coast were laughing at the European teams. I'll say it, I know they got eliminated, but they were laughing at them in the pubs because they were saying, look at these Europeans, they keep denying. I just want to fight. Just run at them. Why are you denying these creeps? And they told me this a couple of times, like, why do they have such high denies? They do nothing. Kick you out of the lane. And Nectar would be like, I'm Ursa, I kick you out. Why would I deny? I have claws to fight, not claws to hit creeps. That was his literal textual statement.
Yeah, of course, translated from,
you know.
but no, I could see it. Okay, another rotation
and
coming through.
Taking away all the swears from that statement, but yes.
Oh,
Cleaning it for the kids, boom. Going for a kill here. Yeah, this is the style a bit more. Again, Diabolic Edict used already. The Dragon Form is not yet available a second time, so FN can push, but he's going to get a kill on an Aramis. Yeah. There we go, Dragon Form is now available. In joins Shad. Shad wants to get the counter kill against Bignum. He will find it. And they stunned FN. FN weak against Shad. Shad just chasing him down. They have the Stampede on top of that. Run onto FN. But thinking of the support kill better. Boom, rotate to the mid lane. Diabolic can get again available, but can't run the enemy team down while Doom is available.
Yeah, and the incredible thing about that is I thought that rotation was a little early or even forced from Viking GG. I was like, surely you guys need to finish getting that top tier 1 tower before you rotate. Oh, not to worry. They did. That's a Lesh with max Edict for you. I think he was TPing away while the Edict Explosions finished off the tower for him. Rotates mid, and I mean, they've done so well to repel both pushes now from FN. Basically just with the Nyx Assassin alone, this time bringing a couple of more friends, even picking off a kill here onto the Lion. So Unique. It's a small net worth lead for them, and I think mostly because the Troll, for the most part, has been able to get a lot of farming time in, and of course because of the Doom, especially now that he has Midas completed. But I think Viking GG have set themselves up nicely here in this early game to kind of take it in whichever direction they feel like is most suitable this game. And for Shad anyway, that means buying this Ursa, buying this Diffusal Blade rather for the Ursa.
Yep, and that Diffusal Blade is going to set up your mid-game. Like, this Ursa is just such a high tempo control. I don't know how a Troll matches him. Pantimos might be thinking of going like S and Y, I'm imagining. But that is just not as good as getting kills as a Diffusal Blade. That's why this build has been so popular on Ursa. Deals with so many heroes, and particularly these tanky cores like Doom or DK suffer so much against it. Because you don't itemize to be able to have some mana in case the bear rushes at you and takes it all away from you. Yeah. You know, it's a bit of a difficult situation, because what, do you build like Soul Ring just in case? That seems weak, right? Do you itemize just to get Diffusal?
You got to get Bignum to level 20 and have you refill the mana that gets burned with the 20 talent. I mean, you're right. I mean, obviously that's a joke, right? But it is a bit brutal here, especially for Doom, who's not really the smartest hero in the game. 2.1 int gain, better than his Agi, of course, but that's not saying much.
My gratitude.
No, exactly, and even if that's the issue of the tanky cores in general, right? Because you also have a lot of hits onto them, so you'll burn the mana whether they like it or not. They'll run out of mana before they run out of HP. Sorry.
And actually, they might look for a kill onto Ghostic. Yeah, some Pale or Shot.
I mean, Loki's used as well, so they want to go in. Boom, rushing in for Ghostic. Lightning Storm's available. That's gonna slow him down, but Ghostic has a Scorched Thirst maxed. That's gonna be enough to run away. But Boom can take a tower as a result, as DK does the same mid lane.
And there's Diffusal completed. I actually also like Diffusal, I mean, yes, against the tanky cores, but also against the Wyvern. Yeah, they're going to be able to set up for the relocate back and punish the Wisp for looking for a kill. But if you look at Wyvern as a hero, you know, generally not a hero you think of that has mana problems in the same way like, say, like a Bane or a Maiden kind of has mana problems. Of course, Maiden with the passive kind of makes up for it. Stampede is for top lane. I think that's just to get Kezu out of harm's way. I saw Ghostic nearby, what did not want to eat a Doom. There's another smoke, though. The blink on in, out from FN. Linefinger in the Earth Spike is going to be able to net them the kill there onto Boom. Great pick off. As Shad now looking to try and punish. There's the inhibit out from the Diffusal Blade. He will drop the ultimate, but Shad cuts him down before he's able to get across the trees. It's going to be a great kill there, and actually that's the point I was going to make. And Diffusal feels like a really nice item as well versus this Winter Wyvern, who does have rather expensive mana costs for each of her abilities.
That's true, actually. I mean, you just forced the Winter's Curse for free. Shad thinks, why not? Let's go for the Roche. You're Radiant after all. You have this advantage. They should have scouted this with a ward. a rotational ward that should have indicated to Unique where they were going. You have an Ursa. It's not hard to guess when he's out of the map. Can Unique fight this though? Without Winter's Curse, they don't seem inclined to. They have a Doom, but we haven't seen it yet, right?
We have not seen a Doom yet, as far as I know. I've had this green triangle on top of my bar. I've been watching it just in case. I think they tried top lane, but that's why we heard that stampede earlier.
Sure.
Dire's middle tower is
Triangle.
under attack.
The four-sided triangle.
Oh, is it a... yeah, it is a
Dire's
diamond,
middle
actually. I don't know.
tower has fallen.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, there's two diamond, there's two
Radiant's
triangles in
bottom
there, if you will.
tower is under attack.
That's true. That's true.
Two isosceles
Euclidean-
triangles. There you go. I got you. See?
Yeah.
Dire's
Too
middle
smart for
tower
me.
is under
Sorry.
attack.
You know me. I do
Well,
love my
I-
geometry. Geography.
I'd like to see a Doom coming out eventually from Ghostic. I feel like I've seen the old 11 do this too. You know, and they'll go for the Midas with the Devourer and then just rush the BKB. It's exactly his build actually, and he won't actually participate too much in kills. I don't know if this is the game where you can afford to do that because you're giving him free reign to the Ursa to just
Yeah.
run you down.
Yeah, he may be a bear, but he is very much still the elephant in the room of this game, and he can really start to take over here.
Oh, relocate up top. They find the Doom Ghostic. He's waiting for that Scorched Earth. Was actually on cooldown.
Nice
Gets stun up. Right as the Spike Car presented. Now the Scorched is available. Shad so frustrated, has Diffusal Blade. Still the overpowered. Doesn't want to use it. Shad, just jump onto him and guarantee the kill.
They did leave
As in the bottom lane, Io.
Yeah, I don't think Unique were quite expecting the Wisp to leave him there. In the end, it was actually the perfect move because they still get the kill into the Doom, and yet again are only left with the mediocre kill on an Io. I think they were hoping that the Ursa would be taking the return trip because they easily could have killed him, if not once, or if not twice, definitely at least once, and get rid of that Aegis. But unfortunately, losing the Doom yet again before the BKB can be completed is a rough game here for Ghostic. At least we'll be able to finally get this tier 1 tower down in the bottom lane.
Structures are fortified.
That's true. I mean, you already took mid tower, so I don't think it's too bad for Unique. I think their pushing has been pretty solid. Teemo's been getting some good farm here on the troll. Think about the past secret match. And he has been scaling decently with a Basher so that now you can deal with the Ursa head on. Troll's not bad against the Ursa if you itemize in the anti-carry way. Scotty would not be a bad consideration. S&Y, Basher, Scotty maybe.
Dire's top tower is
But
under
at the same time, GG's trying to open up the map themselves, taking advantage of the catapult on the top lane. Oh, Slayer walked in trying to defend this. Instead, he finds an angry bear, gets destroyed, and boom, will take a tower for free as a result.
Yeah, really, really good play around Viking GG at the moment. How long? They've still got a while left on this Aegis as well. Yeah, a full 2 minutes and some odd seconds as there's a relocate coming through. Bignum trying to leave, and without the stun in time from Aramis, he is going to be good to go. That will delay the push here a little bit, so it's a part of me, not just, you know, a little bit of embarrassment, if you will, to Viking GG, but it'll also basically nullify the push that they had going top lane. And that's going to allow Unique for a little bit more breathing room, making sure they don't lose a tier 3 tower too early on. But the damage has been done regardless. I mean, Outpost already captured. They can't get any wards up in the jungle. They've got some really great wards out from Viking that would scout anyone looking to, you know, sneak out of the base and farm a couple of waves. And they're they've got a great lineup, of course, to punish moves exactly like that.
Yep, and Unique feels like they haven't been able to do enough in this early. Again, no Dooms yet, you know, no kills. They've taken some objectives, mostly avoiding these fights, and the map control is in favor of Viking GG, despite the fact they have a DK troll. That said, they are waiting for their power spike on the troll, it seems like, and I don't think that's bad either. They have good farming with the Midas and the Devourer, allowing you to make more out of less space, and your DK and troll are solid cores that will eventually outcarry an Ursa.
Yep. Furthermore, I'd like to add that, again, Aramis, I've said this all the time about a Nyx Assassin, this is kind of the type of game where he is a little bit weakened. He's only got 2 assists and 1 death, and he's actually going for the burrow immediately. So he's going to be hard-pressed to find the farm to be able to get this item online, just because his team's not fighting. Same can be said somewhat of Kezu, who does farm and push waves extremely quickly, but for the most part, a lot of this farm is just kind of being absorbed and vacuumed up by Shad. You know, on the side of Unique, that's honestly just not the case. Everyone is still getting pretty decent farm. So that still could very well be an issue if we can get this troll properly online, because it won't just be a troll versus an Ursa, it'll be a troll and a DK and a Wyvern and a Doom versus an Ursa and some helping staff from Viking if it gets that late. That's the big if,
not
I
even-
would say.
Not even helping heroes, they've been relegated to staff.
Yeah.
They're the caterers for the Ursa at this point. And you're right to some degree. You know, the center I feel like can do more with less, in my opinion. When it comes to farm, I don't think center really needs that much. I mean, yeah, Van Hood, Blink, that's it. But I do agree that Lesh does like to farm a bit more, and Boom. I wouldn't say he's fallen behind, though.
I agree with that. I don't think Boom's doing poorly whatsoever, especially as he overtakes Palantimos in terms of farm. But as to the Centaur question, I do think we have some pretty good answers for that. Particularly Winter's Curse can be absolutely brutal. I mean, it's a team fight reset, sure, but of course it's going to lock down potentially a bunch of heroes through a Stampede.
Aramis, he does not get a TP. I mean, that's quite the commitment for a Nyx Assassin, but it is a kill for Unique, so not bad. Like,
Smoke up.
Killing Aramis allows you to smoke a bit more reliably, so this is actually a decent choice, because now you don't have the scouting Nyx around.
Look at what Ghostix just purchased, by the way.
Soul Ring, oh, so he was listening to it. It's like, maybe I should.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Obviously kidding, by the way. We're not taking credit for inventing the Soul Ring.
Yeah, you know, it's the first time anyone's ever built Soul Ring on a Doom. You know, it's completely an original idea that no one's ever done before. But
it's a good idea against the Diffusal.
I mean, I only brought it up because you did kind of jokingly half suggest it, because it is not a great solution at the end of the day. You're completely right. But
No,
if you farm for 20 minutes on a Doom, you get all this farm up, you got a BKB, but you just don't have mana to cast your namesake ability. It's just like farm for what, right? You gotta have the ability to at least cast a Doom if it comes down to it. Even versus an Ursa, that can be quite the item, or quite the ability to get off. So I'm behind it. I like it. It's a great suggestion, and I think you should take full credit for that one, Avo.
Counter smoke. Don't get me flamed more. Big Num. Okay, he's ready for the choke point. Really good positioning there by Big Num on the Lion. Smelt the smoke. Without Nyx being able to lead as reliably, or without him having his Vendetta in time, they couldn't surprise him. Actually, would have been worse if they got Earthspike there, so I guess that was not... Could have been worse for Viking, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Unique, again, they're just avoiding fights, going for smokes, which... I'm not really sure of the purpose of these smokes. I guess it's to just find pickoffs, because they don't seem to want to fight 5-on-5 here.
They don't, but also, if they don't fight now, then are they going to fight for Roche? I like that idea a little bit better, but hey, this pickoff's not bad either. Aramis must die, and a follow-up stun means he's not allowed to play any Dota here. We'll be able to recapture the outpost, ideally get a couple of wards up, and prepare for an incoming Roche fight, I think is the name of the game right now for the side of Unique. And just continue to stack up plenty of farm across everyone. I mean, honestly, I think BKB is go time for Palantimos. I think that's when he's, you know, feeling confident enough to say, no, we stay, we fight, I'm strong. Until then, I think there's doubts in Palantimos' mind. Because they can chain stun him quite easily. I mean, they've done it before already, and it's not like they lack the damage by any means, mind you. It's just, he just needs to be able to get off Battle Trance, and BKB is the item that will allow him to get off Battle Trance.
Yeah, fair enough. You have to play around your window. I've seen Unique, though, sometimes just wait a bit too long. This happens against Alliance, right? I don't think the late game is guaranteed again, so people underestimate the power of an Ursa in the late game. He'll get his own BKB. Lesh is farming now pretty well. He's back to full farming. And they let the center behind, but like I said, it doesn't matter because Kezu's just an initiator. And with the Burrow build on Aramis, you have a pretty strong both high ground defense and high ground siege later on in the game.
Yeah, I want to touch on a point that you made very briefly because I think we've got plenty of time here. The next smoke's going to be available in a bit. Aramis now respawning, so I assume Unique are going to smoke onto him real quick. Roshan, by the way, up in 30 seconds, so that's the next point of contestment. But you said, you know, Ursa no longer, you know, people underestimating the late game, and I think if that still may be true, but I think that's like a bit of an outdated logic. You know, I don't think any hero in particular is that bad anymore in the late game because there's so many items. There's now talents in the game. You can eat an Aghanim Scepter. You've got way more slots to play with. You know, neutral items are a whole thing as well. So it would be wise of Unique definitely to recognize that and not just wait and assume troll over Ursa on the late game, because that's not necessarily true. Kezu, though, this time is going to be the one found by the gank. Winter's Curse is going to be onto Boom with an ED run active. Now Ghostek looking to close the gap, planning the Doom here onto Fuzzy Wuzzy. We don't have a stun, though, in time from the Lion, and Boom healed back to full HP here by Celery, not even having the Holy Locket yet, Avo. That was simply just Mac.
Now you could go and counter-initiate relatively easily. They'll find poor Slayer first, get rid of the Winter Wyvern. That's I mean, the Winter's Curse were already used anyway, so
Yeah,
it
we've
doesn't
got
really matter.
nothing.
Ghost taking his target. Have any stuns to stop his TP? Boom was coming, but Yol Hunter was not used in time. So Unique won't lose any people, but they will lose all of the resources in this fight. Even Dragon Form was committed there, which gives a free Roshan here to Viking GG. This carries a shard for the Ursa, big deal.
Oh, yeah.
As one of the strongest shards in the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely one of the stronger shards in the game. And you know what? Unironically, Avo, after watching a couple of matches at the Major as well, this has kind of bolstered my my feelings in this. I think they've got maybe not the top 3, you know, shards in the game here, but definitely I would say, and I would argue for a top 7 or a top 5, as FN has to BKB just to TP away. And that would be, I would say, Lashrak's Aghanim shard. I think it's very situational, but I think this thing it's really showed its worth here.
I think there's a point in the game, much like with the Burrow, when you just start playing around the high ground, where everything's a choke point, really, that chart is so good. I would argue it's the best area denial spell. Like, it's above the Macropire and stuff like that. That last shard puts Jakiro to shame. It's like, oh, I have Ice Path, who cares? I have like 15 split Earths.
I
it's
have the ability to perma-stun someone, and that is entirely annoying. Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, honestly. I would agree with that. You know, I think even though the buffs to DK Shard were significant, they need to really give him the anime treatment and give him too much plot armor. As Aramis is going to be scouted here. Stampede to get him out, and also to close the gap here is Viking looking to counter-initiate. It's only Bignum for what they can find out from this, so Unique aren't too unhappy with what they have gotten. Long TP from Slayer, but he's able to escape eventually.
I don't feel like Jakiro would last very long in the anime. He's literally 2 dragons. Like, everyone seems to really, really bloodthirsty for dragons. It's a 2-for-1.
I mean, are they? I think it's just kind of DK. I think it's just because it's called, you know, Dragon's Blood that it's a little bit thirsty for the dragons. Luna doesn't care
there was
about
this
dragons.
one guy. Yeah, but the one guy that kills DK, he's like, I know you're human, but like, you're a dragon. It's like, why not? You're just like a dragon. Let me murder you.
Dire's
Thing though, she would kill dragons too if she could. Luna just likes blood. Shad finding Pantimos, he's also looking for blood.
Purges
And
the miss.
Pantimos can't man-fight this. Not with the Enrage, not with the Shard. They do stun Aramis though, but Ursa, there's the Winter's Curse. They reset the fight, they start the Doom. They will Doom Kezu, however, to prevent the Stampede, which he didn't have anyway, but Kezu won't be able to get any stuns off. He gets healed by the mech. Someone had to Doom Shad. Shad was free to use the BKB and then murder Palantimos and Cold Blood. FN in trouble. Shad free to do whatever he wants, acting as the Enrager, or rather the Earthshock, to prevent the Ghostic stun from being too impactful. Boom's to full HP. Kezu comes back in. Unique just lost 2 of their cores. That Doom, I don't think that was the target.
No, I'd agree with you.
I think you had to Doom the Ursa.
Yeah, doing the Ursa seemed like a better bet there. I think they were confident. I think they probably should have done that in reverse, right? I think you farm this. Oh, see with the Slayer. Goodbye to all the mana. Kezu's there for a follow-up stun. Celery's tanking shots from the tier 3s and now the tier 4 tower. Slayer though with the R2 burn is going to deny him to go across the Ancient as he will be pushed aside. It felt like Palantimos was like, guys, I'm strong. Don't worry. You know, I'm farming the stacks. I've got max fervor on him. But I mean, this shard. There's a reason we call it. You know. Although now we don't agree about a lot of things, especially about Dota. But we do agree that this shard is completely bonkers. I mean, the fact that he immediately jumps in, and normally Troll Warlord, who excels in these kind of melee-to-melee matchups where you require your right clicks to connect, Ursa just goes, oh, Whirling Axis, that's adorable. Let me go ahead and get rid of that real quick for you. And it's ready to go again in, what, 10 seconds or something ridiculous on Urshok? 7 seconds? Like, it's so damn good. I think you need to do this.
It even reduces the cooldown by a second of the Earthshock. For whatever reason, they thought it's not strong enough, but it gives you the Enrage. Shad, look, he's just kill alone. He has Aegis, so why not?
He knows. Still a minute left in this Aegis. There's Kezu with the blink on in onto Palantimos. Bignum looking for follow-up stone onto Shad. Even if he did connect, guess what? That would have only lasted like a half second.
You think that's why they didn't doom him, by the way, because the Aegis?
It must have been, like, it must have been, but...
Oh, nice evasion by Boom there. They avoid the thunder. But Shad is just going crazy. I mean, I think if at least doom him, you get rid of him in the fight regardless, right? Because he loses Overpower, loses the Earthshock. He can't use a BKB Diffusal.
But he's still a little bit scary in these fights, don't you think? Because, I mean, we don't have the Axe. Because he can still, you know, stack up Fury Swipes on you. And unlike a Slark, where, you know, if you doom him on the first life, it doesn't matter how many Essence he steals, because he's going to lose them when he respawns. You're not going to lose, or you're not going to get the debuffs off from you from these Fury Swipes. I mean, just ask FN. He's already got up to 6. There's going to be the Rage use as well as the Earth Shock. FN pops the BKB, but eventually will blink away. By the way, that's Aghanim Scepter finish for Aramis now.
I love that Shad has a moment where he slightly retreats, like, guys, I don't think they have damage. Vikings like, yeah, just go, just go.
Let's go, man.
He's free this game. Troll is 6k, like 5k behind. I think the matchup Troll Ursa, it's not the greatest for the Troll. It really depends on the optimization, honestly, on both. But certainly not when you're 5k behind. It's not a beneficial enough matchup for you to be able to win that. You need to now kite the Ursa somehow.
I'll tell you what, Abo.
If you had gone for the Ags, maybe.
I want to talk about something a little bit different here. This is already kind of... The French call this the pis-aller, which is the move of last resort. Usually, it's not really the best move to be making, but you have literally no other choices, right? It's the last stand. And the pis-aller has really kind of evolved over Dota 2 professionally, and I think that's one of the biggest overall macro game developments. It used to be, like, you watch replays from, like, TI2, TI3 even, and people just, like, sit in their base and let enemies run at them. That evolved, I want to say, like, around TI6 when the terrain was really obnoxious and you had, like, high ground here and high ground here with, like, kind of a gutter in between high ground and the tier 2 tower. And you had teams then, like, look to smoke around and make counterattacks here. That's since become the standard, and now I think the pis-aller has evolved to such a stage where what you do is you try and hold behind a tier 2 tower, like in this area by the Radiant, or sorry, by the Dire tier 2 on the right side, and you just hope that people will come to you, and then you counter-initiate on that, because everyone's used to you smoking out the base and going through the triangle. I think this is so cool, because I've seen this a lot from EG. Unique are trying this one out as well. And I think, you know, when it's brand new like this, people got to pay attention to it and be ready for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea. But with the domination of Viking GG and the map control they have right now, they're just free to do this.
Here they go.
I mean, look at this. Spike Carpet is done too, but they do lose Celery. Winter's Curse, so they can guarantee that kill on Celery. Chad's not gonna die to this. Activates the Enrage first, the BKB as well. He wants to get out. He lost his IO. They do kill Bignum in the back lines, but they're on the back foot, waiting for Palantimos to lose that BKB. They're Doom on the Ursa this time. Has no Aegis.
Palantimos
But
is
Ursa,
stunned.
he just run. Palantimos is dead, actually.
Yeah.
And Chad is being healed by Celery. He popped back just to save his carry.
Oh, no.
That Doom is doing nothing as he just pummels Ghostic down. Claws him to death. Goodbye to Ghostic. Slayer hiding in the trees. Aramis still wanted to go for the skill, but is it even necessary? You already killed Palantimos. That was your main goal anyway.
Yeah, man, if Soul Ring wasn't necessary,